I've just finished playing my first game of Ziteria. It's a new game that's out on Kickstarter now, and this copy here, full disclosure, was sent to me as a preview and I didn't pay for it. They did, however, send me the German version and this sort of first draft of the English rules, which was a real grammatical challenge to read. So, what is Ziteria? Well, if your childhood was anything like mine, it would have included 2 copies of a board game called Hero Quest. And if I was to sum up Ziteria in one sentence, it would be player versus player Hero Quest. This very broken miniature is all that remains of my 2 sets of Hero Quest from my childhood, and since then the quality of sculpting has really massively improved a lot. The miniatures that come with this game are to die for. There are shapes on here that couldn't be done with injection moulding. These are resin 3D printed miniatures, and the detail levels are absolutely phenomenal. And it's not just the miniatures that have had an upgrade. It's the board too. This is no cardboard print. This is a full miniature dungeon set, the kind you would get in an elaborate Dungeons and Dragons setup. And you get more here than most D&D players would ever dream of using. Anyone who's ever used these things for D&D knows what it's like. You get your dungeon bits, you set it up, and you build your encounter and get all the things in place. And you're like, yeah, great, I've got this dungeon room. And then you realise, wow, that's a very small room and I need to go and buy some more and I'll have to remortgage the house. But with Ziteria, you get this huge expanse of a dungeon, and not just the dungeon, but you get all these lovely scenic bits inside as well, like this fireplace piece and this pig on a spit roast and this alchemist desk and this bookcase and this cabinet and the library bookcase and this brewery thing and this weapons rack, which should be familiar, many of those pieces, to fans of Hero Quest. Those who've watched this channel for a long time know that I do love art. I love crafting dungeons for my games, and I own 14, 15 dungeon sets. And these components are so good. I actually have some of these things already, and well, more than the quick handful I just grabbed, but these are the same molds that are used in this game. This is good stuff. It really is. What I'm saying here is, if you're somebody who plays Dungeons and Dragons or other games like it, and you like to use miniatures, this particular board game is like a scenery bonanza for you to use in your D&D games, which is incredible. It's kind of what the original Hero Quest was. I still know people who play with the furniture from the Hero Quest board game today. And people familiar with those modular dungeon sets you can buy for D&D will know how much of a pain they are to set up, but that's not the case here. One of the things I've always wanted from modular dungeons is larger pieces, so you can just put down an entire encounter room in one go, and you're not sitting there for ages laying out each individual piece. This is obviously one of the larger rooms, and this is strong stuff. It's tough as nails. It's a highly compressed, dense hard foam. Lots of details. If you're into sculpting and stuff, moddable too. Disadvantage, of course, is it doesn't come pre-painted, but for many of us, that's a gift. And I believe the Kickstarter is being offered with a painted option. Of course, you're going to pay more for that. And there is one little tiny criticism I have about the dungeon itself. So I spoke to the designers and they assure me that this problem is purely a pre-production issue, that this is an early prototype and that in the actual units they'll be sending out, this won't be a problem. And these little tokens they want you to put under the furniture, they're very small and fiddly, and I just know they're going to get lost. and I just can't help but feel that something 4 times the size and, a standard sort of cardboard token would have been a lot better than this, high quality laser engraved etched token, but it's just tiny. Now those criticisms could all be because I've got a pre-production prototype here that they've sent me, and maybe when it goes into production that stuff will be better, but I'm just reviewing what I've got. But how does the gameplay, and is it fun? Out of the box this comes as a 2-player game, but theoretically you could use any 4 models from whatever miniature collection you've got and throw them in the arena. It's a tournament, it's a bit like paintball if you've ever played that. You've got an artifact in the middle and you have to take it to the other team's base, as it were, or starting room. The game begins with you and your fellow players laying out a dungeon, and if I just chuck this down here is our artifact room. In this alchemist table is an artifact that we need to get to our opponent's base. Then each player will take turns to place one of these little rooms and nearby, connecting to the main dungeon piece. Then we place a big room each, and then we place another small room. Once that's done, we can place these little wall pieces down to block off some routes, and then we can place these closed doors down. During your movement, as you would expect, you can just open a door. It costs 1 movement point. You can also close any open space behind you with the door, costing again 1 movement point. But walls you get to charge down and bash to pieces. And when you do, you add the wall to your personal supply. More on that later though, because let's talk about the furniture. Each player places furniture pieces around the dungeon. Inside are hidden little bonuses that the heroes can pick up as they venture throughout. Once your dungeon's set up, you're ready to start rolling 6-sided dice, or D6s as D&D players call them. And this is where the game's very reminiscent of HeroQuest. See, back in the days of HeroQuest, to move you would roll your 2 6-sided dice. Well, in this game you roll 1 6-sided dice and you add 6 to the result. And that's how many spaces all of your 4 characters can move. No matter what model set you're using, your 4 heroes will be fundamentally the same. You'll have a hero who has 3 hit points and a very strong attack and defend skill. You'll have a close combat or a melee guy, and he has 3 dice when attacking and 2 dice when defending. You'll have a little pokey guy with a spear, and he only gets 2 dice, but importantly, he can attack on diagonals. And you get somebody with a bow or other ranged weapon who only gets 2 dice but can attack at range. It's been a very long time since I played a grid-based game that didn't allow diagonal movement, but I must confess to feeling a certain amount of nostalgia about that. So all of the attacks have to be on a lateral, whether it's horizontal or vertical on the grid, unless you're using your pokey spear dude, who can do diagonals. So we chuck our guys down in our starting rooms and we roll our dice. So once we've moved, we can start hitting things and poking them with weapons, and that's where you get to roll your combat dice, and they are very reminiscent of the old hero dice with swords and shields, and also this Joker symbol that I can't quite work out exactly what that is, but they're lovely wooden quality dice. The connection to HeroQuest here being a little more than skin deep, the number of dice you roll being determined by which character, and of course you have to have more swords than your opponent rolls shields. But each turn you get to do a special action, and that special action might be placing a wall down on the map or creating magically a set of stairs. I can't explain it, they appear magically, but once per turn you can place down a set of stairs, and then the following turn, of course, you can now go between the different altitude levels within the dungeon. Walls which block movement have to be diced past by rolling the d6 against the wall's d6, and seeing if you scored higher, and if you fail, well, that character can't get past the wall this turn. This makes for a game of tactical movement and positioning with HeroQuest nostalgic feels mixed in with paintball. It's an odd combination, but it does work, especially if you're into those old school kind of games. Fundamentally, this is kind of a skirmish war game, and there is no catch-up mechanic if you fall behind, and like most war games, there is a point somewhere in the middle when you can pretty much predict who's most likely to win by a fairly sure margin. And those traits of old games, they are here. This is a nostalgia fest. I play Dungeons and Dragons type games with several different groups of people, and I know that some of those groups will be all over this, the tactical positioning type game, and it's so much faster playing than a game like D&D, and it gets you straight to the heart of that miniature on miniature action. So yes, there's a definite appeal here to a certain type of player. But if you're looking for those amazing Eurogame mechanics in the likes of Scythe and Terraforming Mars, well, they're not here. This isn't that game. This is an old school, die-hard, remember HeroQuest, wasn't it fun game? And yes, HeroQuest was fun. And yes, I do want to beat my mates up with miniature combat mechanics. And yeah, I love playing with scenery. And yes, I don't want complicated rules. I want to very quickly dice it out with my mates with the tactical positioning and stuff. This is that game. This is that fast playing, get it done, look pretty on the table. I mean, when this is painted, and I will paint it, it's gonna look beautiful. Now, I haven't painted it here. I know it's bad of me, but the Kickstarter is live as I'm actually recording this video, so I haven't had time to paint it. I apologise, but it will look beautiful on the table. So yeah, it's a great old school nostalgic game. And let me just say, the quality of this manual, the print, is lovely. Thick print paper, it's durable, it's pretty, it's well designed, it's all in German, I don't understand a word of it. Oh, I should probably talk about the plot of the game. It's not important.